Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I am Molly and I do book content here on YouTube. And I read a mixture of Christian and non-Christian. I do all sorts of books, non-fiction as well. So I have a lot of different interests and tastes, stuff like that. And yeah, stick around if you like it, I guess. Let's get straight into it. I have my TBR for March. I'm doing it a day early in terms of filming because my plans have changed. Normally I film on a Tuesday, but I might be going to the gym on Tuesday instead of today, which is Monday. I have a bit of a headache. So, and sometimes I go with a headache, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how bad it is. And I'm just like, I'm just going to leave it. It's not a bad headache. I've had worse, but it's... Those of you who know, who do a bit of exercise, you put in pressure and it can make my headache worse. Anyway, you don't need to know this. You don't need to know when I film. You don't care. But yes. I'm filming it a day early. It's a bit dull, so I'm using my big light, so I apologise if it's a bit shadowy. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes because light is coming down. But yes, I'm here to do my TBR, and it's quite a big one, but to be fair, it is mostly middle grade and children's. It's often middle grade in March, so that is what I'm doing. So yes, I'm really, well, not really. I am. Okay. I can't English. Okay, so I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna go in order of my challenges and then readathons, and we will see how we get on. So the first challenge is Read Book Self Challenge by Chantal, and for March it is a book with a weapon on the cover, and I had a couple of options, and that's why I'm excited and not excited, but I am actually still excited. It's complicated. So those of you who have seen one of my hauls, I can't remember which one, maybe October's, slash November when it was on my birthday, I got a couple of Christian fiction books that are written by a couple of YouTube / booktubers, one of which I follow and the other one I know of, but I'm not following him. And so one of them is The King's Sword by Micah Cooley, that has a sword on the cover, and then the other one was a book by Krista Cole, which is Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose. And I had to pick between those two because there's a weapon on both of those covers. And I was like, well, I have to use one of them. So the reason why I have mixed feelings is because I'm excited to read the book I picked, but I also really want to read the other book. And so I had to pick between the two because they're both decently sized books. One of them's bigger than the other. But yeah, so I'm excited to read this one, but I'm also sad that I can't read the other one. Even though I could, if I wanted to, I could read both in a month. But you all know me, I'm a slow reader, and there are other books on my TBR for the month. So the one I didn't pick will have to wait a bit. The book I chose in the end was Ariadne and the Fire Rose, and the Legend of the Fire Rose, I apologise, by Krista Cole, who is here on the Christian BookTube area of BookTube. I'm really excited to read this, and I picked this for weapon on the cover because the girl has a bow in her hand, which is obviously the type of bow that is with an arrow, which is a weapon. So I'm using this one. So excited to read this. It just sounds so good. It would have been perfect for February as well, even though I don't think it's a fairy tale retelling, but it's definitely fairy tale-esque, and definitely has things that are very much connected, I would say, to at least one fairy tale, maybe two. And so I'm really excited. I can't wait. And I know, if any of you remember, I did talk about doing a series on my channel about Christian booktubers' books that they've written. So I'm thinking, because there's only one on my TBR, I'm thinking I might do it one for each book. So I'll do a vlog specifically on this book, and do that, hopefully. That's my aim. If it doesn't work out, I thoroughly apologise. Maybe if I don't get to vlog, I'll do a review instead, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah. My aim is to vlog that one. Right. As usual, I do double up. So actually, I'll be using Ariadne again for a couple of other challenges. So my next challenge is the Christian Fiction Challenge by Caterey, from Book Nerd Caterey. And there's a few prompts I could use this book for. So, obviously there's Free Space, but I think I used that one up. But there is Fantasy, which I might use this for, or New Author, because I've not read any of Christie's books, and I think this is the only book she's written. So, yeah, I'll be using that one for one of those prompts. Yeah. All five-star prediction, but as I say every time, every book is a 5-star prediction for me unless proven otherwise. I like to be optimistic. So the next one is Cheryl's Jurassic Reading Challenge from Candlewick Library. For March it is Family, and there's a few options I could do for that one. And they are all going to be middle grades. So some of them I could use for Family because there's bits to do Family. So like the Whisperwicks, there's a character looking for her missing brother, so Family. There's also the second book in the Morrigan Crow series, the Nevermore series, sorry, and that's Wondersmith. I could use that for like Found Family. Or, which is the one I'm thinking I'll use it for, I might read A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, because this is, I think she gets dropped off by her dad, and I think it's to do with family stuff. Again, maybe even Found Family. But I couldn't check. There's no blurb, which I really hate. I really wish there were blurbs on the backs of books, or at the very least in like this area, but there's nothing like that. It's just a quote from the book on the back. So I've not read this, so if any of you have read this and you say it's not really about family or found family, can you let me know? Because then I'll know to definitely not use this. But either way, I have a couple of options for that one. The next one is a book I forgot to bring up with me. This is the Reading the Classics Challenge by Anne from In Search of Wonder. There we go. And I don't have any Christian. Okay, firstly, let me tell you the prompt. So, for March, we have a religious classic. And you can have like an extra prompt, I guess, to it by reading American classics. I don't have any religious classics by Americans, and obviously it doesn't necessarily have to be non-fiction, could be fiction. I don't actually have anything. I've got British ones, and I do have some American books, but they're not classics. They're not old published books. So I think unless I find something, I might just do the non-fiction that I'm currently reading, which is Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, because obviously that's a classic book, he's Christian, it's Christian non-fiction, obviously. So I might do that one. But I'm not sure. I also had the wondering of possibly reading Pilgrim's Progress again by John Bunyan, but again, he's not an American. But obviously that's definitely a classic, because I do have it physically, but I've also noticed I think it's free. Is it free on Audible? I can't remember, but either way it's on Audible, and I can either listen to it for free or for a credit, or maybe even on Spotify, that would be free. But anyway, regardless, there are options, so I could always maybe go for that one. So we'll see. I've got a couple of options, but unfortunately this month they won't be Americans. So yeah, I'm trying not to spend money, which is why I'm saying that, by the way. I do have American authors that are quite famous. Like I have a book by Lee Strobel, but I don't think that's a classic. I think it's quite a recent publication compared to what classics usually are. So yeah. So the next challenge is Katie's Winnie the Pooh challenge, from Paperbacks and Ponytails, and what you will find out this month, and also you'll know from January actually. I'm not doing specific prompts for each month. I'm just reading what I can in the month and then just putting it to whatever prompt that I can fit it for. So I don't necessarily know what prompts that I will be doing. However, there are some books that I know I could definitely use, and I specifically might use. So Katie, very kindly, if I'm remembering correctly, I might not be though, because it's obviously Winnie the Pooh, it's to celebrate 100 years of the Winnie the Pooh books, and I haven't hauled it yet, so I'm going to do a book haul at some point, but I hauled two Winnie the Pooh books. This is the first one, Winnie the Pooh, by A.A. Milne. It also has illustrations as well. It's so cute. There you go, you've got Eeyore there. But Katie said, even though these technically don't necessarily count for middle grade, she said she'll count them at least for her prompt middle grade on her challenge. Obviously, I can't necessarily say you can count it for middle grade mark. You might be able to. I'm not going to tell you no, because I don't know for sure. But certainly Katie, for her Winnie the Pooh challenge, said that she will accept Winnie the Pooh for it if we choose to, even though it technically doesn't count. But either way, even if I don't use it for middle grade, I can use it for a story. A character that has to do with food, because Winnie the Pooh and honey. So I could definitely use it for that, either way. And there's probably other prompts I could use this for as well, so we'll see. So that one is one I'm thinking of using. But like I said, I could use a few of these for prompts, basically. I can't bring. So yeah, I'll leave that for now because I'm not necessarily sure what other prompts I'll do. Okay, let me have a sip of my latte. Got a latte here, my sugar-free caramel. The next one is Alma's Journey Through Time Historical Fiction Challenge, and for March it is A Child's Tale. Obviously very much middle grade or children's historical fiction. And the one I'm thinking of using is A Little Princess because it's historical. There's others I could possibly use. Obviously Winnie the Pooh, could use that one. I'm not sure about the Whisperwicks. I don't know if this is set in the modern day. I feel like it probably is. So I probably can't use this one for that one. However, there is The Toymaker's Apprentice by Sherry L. Smith. This is a Nutcracker retelling of some sort. So it is Christmassy, but that's fine. It fits a prompt for something else, which is why I picked it. What was it? Child's Tale. Yeah, so I would say this is historical. I mean, there's no mention of whether it's modern day or not, other than possibly not being modern day because it's talking about the cobblestone streets of Germany in the blurb here. So I'm going out on a limb and saying that it is historical, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, obviously I have A Little Princess and Winnie the Pooh to use, so I'm not without books for historical fiction, but this is also possibly one I could use as well. So, The next one is Oceana's Read Christian Romance Challenge. And again, I'll be reading Ariadne and The Legend of the Fire Rose by Krista Cole. This one I could use for different prompts. Again, I could use over 350 pages because this is 360 something pages. There's recommended. I could use this for that. I could use this for wanted to read because I have been wanting to read this. There's also some pink on the cover, but there's not much. It's mostly just the sky and maybe her dress or cloak. No, it's her dress, but although that dress is more purple, so it might not be enough pink. But either way, I've got I could use this for a few prompts, so that's good. And then we've got the Francine Rivers read along as well that Oceana's doing, and March is the Atonement Child. Don't think I'll get to it. I've not done any of Francine Rivers' books so far, which is sad, but there we go. I wasn't sure. But April is the Voice in the Wind, so I can totally try and do that one. Okay, I think last one? Yeah, the last one is the Biblical Reading and Retelling Challenge that Kat is doing from Cat Stories, and March is the prompt new. And obviously that could mean anything. It could be the New Testament or new to you. What I have been doing so far this year is doing proper Bible books, not retellings, but also you could do non-fictions, you could do Christian biblical fiction. So I have a few options I could do because I do have some biblical fiction that I've not read before by an author I've not read. She's one I've picked up before as a possibility on my TBR. So I do have options. I'll probably end up doing Bible though because I want to try and be more in the Bible. But that's fine. I've not picked anything yet. I'm just going to see where I want to go and then I'll use it for that prompt. So yeah, that is that one. So those are my yearly challenges. I am now going to talk about the readathon that I want to do. Let's talk about it. I'm going to do middle grade March. I'm sure you can tell with all of the children's middle grade books that I picked up. No, I had no idea either. I didn't write down the prompts because I am silly like that, but I do kind of remember what they are, so it should be okay. One of them I know is a historical fiction, and obviously I'll be using A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I know one of them is a BIPOC author, which is I always forget, but I just heard what it means again, so I do remember it now again, and that is an author who is either Black, Indigenous, or a person of colour. And actually, the Toy Maker's Apprentice is by a Black author, because I had a look to see if there's a picture, and there's not really a proper picture. But on the back, it talks about the author. And if you look closely at her hair, it definitely looks a bit like the really tight coiled hair that a lot of Black women have, and men, of course. So I was like, oh, she might be a Black author. So I had a look online, and she is. Woo! So I'm going to use this for that prompt, which I'm really glad about. Trying to remember. Done historical, done BIPOC author. Oh yeah, a book that has a name in it. I think typically on the title. And I picked Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend because it has Morrigan Crow on the title as well. There's like a sort of subtitle. So I'm using this for that one as well. And then there's one about family. So again, oh no, not family. I think it's siblings. And I decided to go for this one, which is The Whisperwicks. The Labyrinth of Lost and Found by Jordan Lees. There's at least one character which I referenced earlier, and she is a sister looking for her missing brother. So I'm expecting some sibling stuff to do with that in this from her. There might be other siblings with the main character as well. I'm not sure, or just other characters too. So I'm going to pick this for that one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. The fourth one, however, because there's 4 prompts, I think. The fourth one is to pick a book that has books on the cover. That could be one book or it could be more. I can't find any middle grade with books on the cover. No, not even just one book. I have none. I have other books that have books on the cover, you know, YA, adult, etc. Could I find any middle grade children's books? No, I couldn't, which is quite surprising. But there we go. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do that prompt unless I find something in the end, which is possible. So yeah, that was awkward. But there we go, that's fine. So I haven't been able to sort out that prompt, but that's fine. If I do, you'll find out. Hey guys, editing Molly here. I'm currently editing my March TBR for tomorrow. So we're currently at the bit where I'm saying I don't have any middle grade with books on the cover. I have since figured out a way to read one. On Spotify I have audiobooks, and I watched Alma's TBR and she mentioned Pages & Co. by Anna James, which is, I've read the first one, so if you've watched my channel for a while you've seen me talk about it. All of the books, or at least the first 2 or 3, at least anyway, have books on the cover. It's about books. The first one is Tilly and the Book Wanderers. So I am going to go for that, which is the second book. And funnily enough, it would have been good for February. Because it's about fairy tales, lost fairy tales and stuff. So I'm going to go for that one because there's books on the cover. If I've technically already started it, so if I end up finishing it before March, I'll just read the third one, hopefully. Because it's Spotify. I can only get a certain amount of hours for free, so we'll see. But yes, that's the book I'm going to go for. Tilly in the Lost Fairy Tales, or whatever it's called. I'll put a picture up. You don't need to worry. But yeah, I'm gonna go for that one. Right, and I'll see you in a minute because I will be turning up again. See you in a minute. They did say you can double up. I didn't find anything to double up, so. Well, apart from maybe Toymaker's Apprentice, because BIPOC order and possibly historical, and possibly there might be siblings, I don't know, but either way. So yeah, that's all I'm going to do. I did consider doing the March Mystery Madness that I know Tiffany from Beach Bum Bookworm is doing, who I watch, as well as a load of other booktubers. I did consider doing that one, but I haven't picked anything, so if I do any, it's not official, kind of like with February, or was it January? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, those are the books I'm going to pick. Hello, back again. So turns out I forgot that I was going to do a buddy read in March. So me and Teresa from Creatively Faithful arranged some time in, I think it was February this month, just about, to buddy read, because we've tried a couple of times, but due to her health, we've had to stop, unfortunately. So we're trying again, which will be really nice, and we have decided to buddy read Noble by Mishu Andrews. This is book 2 in the King David's Brides biblical series. So this could actually be used for Cat Stories Biblical Retelling Challenge for new, because this is the newest book. There's only 2 out at the moment. So I would say it would count, because I have read the first book. So she's not really a new author, although I have only read that one of hers. But this is a new book in the series, like the new book so far. So it could count for that if I wanted to use it. So we'll see. But either way, I am buddy reading with Teresa, so that'll be really fun. So this is the next one on my TBR. So we'll see how we get on with that. But yeah, that'll be the last you see of editing Molly. I will let you get back to the regular scheduled programming. Bye. Those are the ones that I have officially picked out as books I am hoping to read. It's a lot of books, I'm not going to lie. It's very possible I might be able to get some of them on Audible. A Little Princess I might be able to do on Audible. And maybe even Winnie the Pooh. The others, I mean, there's probably audiobooks, but I'm not necessarily... It does depend on whether I have to pay for them, because I'd rather not. So it does depend. But yeah, that is it. I will leave you to it. So yeah, those are my plans for March. What I can't speak today. What are you planning to do for March with your reading? Are you doing middle grade March? Are you doing March Mystery Madness? Are you doing any of the yearly readathons that I'm doing as well? Just let me know. I'd love to know what you're hoping to read. I know for us in the UK, Mother's Day is this month, March. So if any of you are in the UK, I hope you all have a nice Mother's Day. I know it's not always nice depending on your situation with your mums, in terms of, maybe, they're not around anymore, or you don't have a good relationship with them. So, I'm aware it's not always a good day. So, yeah, I hope you'll make the best of it if you don't have a good relationship or you don't have a mum, and that you don't get too angry or depressed about it. If you're in the UK and you do have any sort of non-happy reactions to Mother's Day, then let me know. I'd love to keep you in my prayers. I don't know how many of you are actually in the UK, so it might not apply to you just yet. But yes, I think that is everything. Yeah, I don't have anything else to tell you, so yeah, I will leave you all to it. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your February. So, to be fair, when you're seeing this, it will be the last day of February, but, I hope you did have a good rest of your February and a good month overall. Yes, God bless, and I will see you all next time. Bye.